Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news. So, today we're diving deep into a topic that's been sparking a lot of buzz around the NFL circles, especially among Giants fans. We're talking about Jalin Hyatt, a name that's been floating around trade rumors for quite some time now. You know, Hyatt was drafted by the Giants with high expectations as a third-round pick back in 2022, and coming out of Tennessee, he was seen as a promising playmaker. But if you've been following the Giants closely, you know that Hyatt's journey in New York hasn't quite lived up to the hype yet. And that's what makes this story so intriguing. Because at just 23 years old, Hyatt is still young, still has a lot of potential, and could very well be the kind of player who benefits from a change of scenery. But let's start from the beginning, because there's a lot to unpack here, from his college days to his current NFL situation, and the possible destinations that could give him the boost he needs to finally break through. Jalin Hyatt's story begins at Tennessee, where he truly put himself on the map. During his junior season in 2022, Hyatt exploded onto the scene, catching 67 passes for 267 yards and 15 touchdowns. That kind of production drew a lot of attention from NFL scouts, and he was widely regarded as a potential first or second-round pick. But he ended up slipping to the third round, where the Giants saw his raw talent and potential upside and decided to bring him into their fold. The hope was that Hyatt could develop into a deep threat, a game-changing wide receiver capable of stretching defenses and creating big plays. And initially, there was some optimism. During training camp and preseason, Hyatt looked promising. He flashed his speed, his ability to get open, and his knack for making acrobatic catches. But as the regular season kicked off, it became clear that Hyatt wasn't quite the immediate impact player the Giants had envisioned. Throughout his rookie campaign in 2023, Hyatt started in 7 games, which in NFL terms is a decent amount of opportunity for a rookie wide receiver. He finished the season with 23 catches for 373 yards, averaging over 16 yards per reception, which is actually quite impressive. But what stands out is that he only scored once in that entire year, and his role was somewhat limited. Last season, things didn't get much better. Hyatt was even more on the fringes, starting just 3 games and catching only 8 passes for a mere 62 yards. The lack of consistent targets and opportunities reflected that he hadn't yet found his groove in the NFL. You could say that Hyatt has been more of a depth option rather than a go-to weapon, often buried in the rotation, not quite a featured piece on the offense. And that's a frustrating reality for a player with his talent, especially considering what he showed in college. Now, here's where things get interesting. Despite the limited production, Hyatt's preseason performance this year has been promising. In the last preseason game against the Patriots, he looked sharp, making 3 catches for 38 yards and scoring a touchdown. That particular game seemed to rekindle some of the hope that Hyatt's potential is still very much alive, just waiting for the right opportunity to shine. But the reality is, with only 23 catches in his young NFL career, Hyatt is still searching for consistency and a role that allows him to showcase his full skill set. The NFL is a tough league, especially for young receivers trying to carve out their place, and Hyatt's situation is no different. What makes this story even more compelling is the possibility that Hyatt could be on the move soon. The trade rumors aren't just idle chatter, they're fueled by his current standing on the roster. Right now, Hyatt is behind players like Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Darius Slayton on the depth chart. That's a tough spot for a player with his talent, especially when the team is constantly looking to improve and find that elusive second receiver after the superstar status of players like Saquon Barkley or the emerging talents in the offense. The Giants have to think long-term, and perhaps moving Hyatt could free up some roster space or draft capital for future upgrades. But what about the potential destinations? Well, that's where things get even more interesting. The Pittsburgh Steelers, for instance, are still looking for a true WR2 to complement their star, DK Metcalf. They need someone with speed, big play ability, and youth to develop alongside their quarterback, and Hyatt fits that profile perfectly. A change of scenery in Pittsburgh could do wonders for him, giving him a more defined role where his speed and vertical threat can be fully utilized. Then there's the Buffalo Bills, who are always in the market for explosive weapons for quarterback Josh Allen. Although they have Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir, their depth at receiver isn't exactly overwhelming. Hyatt's speed and ability to stretch the field could be exactly what Buffalo needs to add another layer to their passing attack, and he could come at a relatively low cost in terms of draft capital or salary. And we can't forget the New York Jets, a team that's been trying to solidify its receiver room after making some offseason moves. With Justin Fields now leading the offense, the Jets are eager to surround him with young, dynamic targets. Garrett Wilson is the star, but beyond him, the room is somewhat shaky with veterans like Josh Reynolds and Alan Lazard. Hyatt, with his youth and upside, could be the perfect piece to help spread defenses and give Fields more options in the passing game. It's a scenario where Hyatt could really thrive, especially if he gets the chance to develop in a system that values speed and vertical routes. Now, looking at Hyatt's NFL journey so far, it's clear that he's yet to make that definitive impact. His rookie season was promising but not game-changing, and last year was even more limited. He's yet to score a touchdown in the regular season, which is a milestone most players aim for early in their careers. But the preseason performance, that bright spark, shows that he still has the talent. It's just about opportunity, about finding the right fit, and perhaps a fresh start in a new team could finally unlock his full potential. At just 23, Hyatt is still incredibly young in NFL terms. He's got time to grow, learn, and adapt. And because he's a third-round pick, his cost in a trade would be relatively low, probably just some late-round draft picks or a conditional future pick. That low-risk, high-reward dynamic makes him an attractive target for teams looking to add depth at wide receiver without breaking the bank. For the Giants, it might be the smart move to consider trading him if they feel they've seen enough or if they're looking to clear some roster spots for other needs. But for other teams, Hyatt could be the piece that finally helps them break through and adds that explosive element that every offense dreams of having. So as we look ahead, the question remains, where will Hyatt land? Will he get a fresh start in Pittsburgh, in Buffalo, or maybe even with the Jets? Or will he stay and fight for a bigger role in New York? Honestly, it's a story that's still unfolding, and one that could have big implications not just for Hyatt's career, but for the Giants' future as well. Because in the NFL, sometimes a change of scenery is all a player needs to finally unlock that potential that scouts and fans saw when he first entered the league. And for a team like the Giants, who are always aiming for that next Super Bowl, it's a delicate balance, knowing when to hold on and when to let go. The NFL is a league of constant change, and Hyatt's story is a perfect example of that. A young player with immense talent, still trying to find his footing, could be on the verge of a breakthrough or a trade that changes everything. Whatever happens, one thing is clear: the Giants, and indeed the entire division, should keep an eye on Hyatt, because his future might just be the next big story in the NFC East. And for us, as fans, it's exciting to see how it all unfolds. He stay, or will he move on and finally get that shot to show the league what he's truly capable of? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure: Hyatt's journey is far from over, and it's one that could redefine his career and perhaps even shift the balance of power in the NFC East. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest New York Giants news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this situation with Hyatt? Do you think he's better off moving to another team where he can really flourish? Or do you believe the Giants should hold on and give him more opportunities? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters so much to us and to the Giants. Remember, this is a community, and your voice helps shape the conversation. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Giants news, rumors, and analysis. We're all in this together, and the journey of the Giants and their players continues to be one of the most exciting stories in the NFL. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay passionate about your Giants.